the great star of the award-winning series Narcos, the Brazilian who has been stealing the scene in Hollywood, the man who became marked by his devotion in every new performance. Today, in our episode of Hero's Journey, we're gonna tell the story of Wagner Moura, the new revelation of world cinema. But before conquering the world, where did the journey of this unlikely hero begin? What were the challenges he faced to reach stardom? And how did his Brazilian roots shape the artist and the man he is today? In the vibrant streets of Salvador, Bahia, amidst the sound of the berimbau and the rhythm of atabaque, a boy destined to capture hearts around the world was born. Wagner Moura, a son of Brazilian culture, had a very intense contact with various types of music, dance, and art during his early years, which are part of the richness of Salvador, known as the cultural cradle of Brazil. From an early age, street theater and cinemas with their magical sessions of national and international films ignited a spark in his heart. Even as a child, Wagner was not content to just watch. He recreated the shows at home, performing for an audience composed of his family and imaginary friends. These were the first signs of a talent that would one day expand boundaries. However, growing up in Salvador in the 80s and 90s presented its challenges. Although the city was rich in art, it was also a place of acute social inequalities, where the choice of a professional career had many consequences for one's future, and he carried the weight of 1,000 expectations from his family. For young Wagner, the safest standard path would be to pursue a university degree, a stable job, and see artistic expressions only as a hobby. Driven more by reason than passion, at the age of 18, he enrolled at Federal University of Bahia, one of the best universities in the country, and decided to embark on a journalism course. At that time, journalism seemed to offer a way to communicate with people, but deep down, the stage still called him. In the theoretical classes during the day, he learned about the world through objective lenses of journalistic facts. But it was at night, on the stages of university theater productions, that Wagner truly found himself. There, in the dim lights of improv spotlights, he didn't just act. He lived each character with an intensity that only true artists possess. Striving to balance this dual journey between journalism student and actor, he developed new skills and demonstrated his determination to overcome challenges from an early age. With every line he studied, with every scene he performed, Wagner prepared himself, perhaps unknowingly, for the calling that would transform his life and take his art to other countries. After completing his studies at the Federal University of Bahia, Wagner Moura stood at a crossroad. That was a decisive moment of his life, the call to adventure that would define his career. He would finally have to decide whether to dedicate himself professionally to journalism or listen to his heart and venture into the unknown world of the performing arts. Wagner Moura chose the path of the artist, and from that moment on, Wagner dedicated himself fully to acting and participated in many plays in the theater, which helped him gain experience and visibility. His dedication and talent did not go unnoticed, and soon he began to receive offers to act in television and film productions. That's how he came to live in other states of Brazil to have more work opportunities, such as Rio de Janeiro and São Paulo. His first roles were small but significant, each adding a layer to his growing ability to transform text into strong emotion. The real turning point came with the movie O Paió, symbolically filmed in his hometown and with characters almost all from the same region. This film was a milestone not only to put him on the radar of great Brazilian directors, but also showed his ability to capture the complex essence of the characters he portrayed with great naturalness. His ability to capture people's attention in this role was crucial, as it opened doors to more ambitious projects. And then, years later, a great opportunity arose to boost his career. He was invited to play an unusual role that would radically change his path, Captain Nascimento in Tropa de Elite. This iconic character not only conquered Brazil, but echoed around the world, bringing Wagner a recognition that few actors achieve and demonstrating his versatility to express a tough and aggressive character without losing his sensitivity and empathy. After the media explosion of Tropa de Elite in Brazil, Wagner felt prepared to embark on even larger productions with reach in major global cinema circuits. It was at this moment that he faced one of the greatest challenges any actor could face, bringing Pablo Escobar to life in Narcos, a Netflix series that not only demanded an extraordinary performance in terms of acting, but also put him under international scrutiny. When Wagner was chosen to play Pablo Escobar, the most famous drug trafficker ever, he knew that this role would not only test his acting skills, but also plunge him deep into a culture completely different from his own. To prepare for the role, Wagner had to face several significant challenges. The first and perhaps most intimidating was learning Spanish, a language he did not speak fluently, since Portuguese is spoken in Brazil. You already knew that, right? I hope so. Language mastery was crucial for the authenticity of the character, and Wagner immersed himself fully in this task. He decided to live in Colombia, the land of Pablo Escobar, and spent months away from his family learning Spanish. The immersion in the country was not only to learn the language quickly, but also to embody the essence and behavior of Escobar. Every word, every phrase had to resonate with the truth of his character. Wagner underwent an obsessive dive into the role of the drug dealer, so that he could come as close to perfection in acting as possible. In addition to the linguistic challenge, Wagner faced the need for a physical transformation. He gained a lot of weight to resemble Escobar aesthetically, a change that demanded not only physical but also psychological commitment from him. In fact, he has stated in some interviews that this caused some consequences to his body, as he had difficulty losing weight after filming. And the strong emotions during the scenes resulted in several sleepless nights.
So our bodies, they have a memory of what you're doing. So
the body doesn't know you're acting.
Exactly. I love this. I mean, the body doesn't know you're acting. This is perfect. You do a strong scene, an emotional scene, and then you wait. You're gonna have a coffee, and your hands like
a residue if it's
you give information to your body, and the body doesn't know it's a lie.
No.
So you keep that thing in your. So you have
psychologically.
You have to take care to it's not nice.
As we've just seen, portraying Escobar was a lonely and demanding journey for Wagner. He had to delve into the depths of the mind of a man who was both loved and feared, a hero and a villain. Therefore, he had to balance a faithful and human representation of Escobar while dealing with the gravity of the real crimes committed by the drug dealer. Despite his total commitment, criticism of his accent emerged as an unexpected opponent. Wagner faced the criticisms with resilience, using them as a booster to further improve his performance during the seasons of the series. After Narcos, Wagner Moura also ventured into producing various films and working behind the scenes. A hallmark of his productions is the constant social criticism and political engagement of his stories to awaken greater social awareness in his viewers, such as in the film called Marighella, where he produced, without fear of conveying harsh criticism of the period of military dictatorship that Brazil experienced for 21 years. Currently, Wagner Moura continues to expand his artistic horizon, culminating in his most recent success in Hollywood, the film Civil War, where he acts alongside Kirsten Dunst, bringing to life a compelling and emotional story that explores complex themes of morality and humanity in times of conflict. His performance is a testament to his ability to capture the depth of complex characters, a skill that has been honed throughout his career. This project not only marks a new peak in his career, but also demonstrates how he has used all the lessons learned in his journey to deliver a performance that has been acclaimed by both critics and audiences. The film has been breaking box office records in theaters and has made him even more popular in American households. Wagner Moura, with his trajectory of determination and excellence, is a true hero in the art of cinema and an example of how culture and art can be tools for social transformation and bridges to realizing our dreams. His journey reminds us that each of us can overcome barriers, face criticism, and still continue to follow the path of our heart. But what about you? Have you seen any films of our real-life hero? Well, today we'll wrap it up here. So if you like this video, leave a like to reach more people. And if you enjoy inspiring content like this, subscribe to our channel to receive the next episodes of The Hero's Journey. Until next time.